Noah walked into class that day, in the morning, and he thought it would be a normal day, but as he looked inside, he could see that Eden was under his desk, and that Macaulay was squealing in fear. Braden was crying his eyes out, and Lucas was covering his head in his arms. All the kids were acting funny, like there was an earthquake or something terrible had happened. Noah was a little bit freaked out, but he walked inside anyway with his backpack on, looking at all the students, wondering why are they afraid. One of the girls in the back screeched, "There's a rodent in this room!" A rodent in this room? What do you mean, like a mouse? Noah wondered. Just then he looked over to see if Miss Bowles knew anything that was wrong. He turned to see if she was sitting at her desk, but he noticed someone else was there. Noah kind of rolled his eyes. Are you kidding me? He thought to himself. Sitting there in Miss Bowles' seat with his legs kicked on the desk and his hand behind his head was Melvin the Mole. Noah went like this. Oh, crud. Why is Melvin here at school with me, he wondered. Just then Melvin said, "Whizzle Wally Cowboy, it's Noah." And a big smile came on his face. He was wearing a purple bow tie that day. And Noah noticed right beside him, he had brought his son, one of his sons with him. Of course, Noah knew all of his kids because they'd hung out so much and gone on the trails and on the tunnels with them. But he noticed that today Melvin the Mole had Sneasel Griffin, his little boy. Noah thought, Sneasel Griffin? And just then Sneasel Griffin went, "Wickety ticky too, if it isn't Noah." And he put on a dumb grin just like his dad. All of the kids in the class were still afraid, but they really got afraid when they heard the moles talking. Noah thought, I gotta calm them down somehow. Noah stood on top of his desk and he said, Guys, don't freak out. Don't be afraid. But there's a rodent in Miss Bowles' chair, said Macaulay. I cannot stand it. I don't want to get dirty. I don't want to get stinky. What is even going on? The kids all got a little bit afraid again after Macaulay started talking. Noah calmed them down. Whoa, guys, don't worry. This mole isn't here to hurt us. And he's probably the cleanest animal in the world. That's right, zippity zing. I take 4 baths a day. Melvin made another stupid face. All the kids thought maybe they were dreaming when they heard the mole talk. No, Noah said, he's actually Noah didn't know how to describe it. Well, he's a friend of mine. A friend of yours? Yeah. Noah didn't want to get into the details because he couldn't tell all of his classmates about the tunnel trio, of course. Friends indeed. And before he knew it, Melvin was sitting on top of his head. Melvin! Noah was so frustrated with Melvin that he just popped into his class without even warning him, but he eventually got the class to calm down. See, guys, he's nice. He's a weirdo, but he's nice. So his name is Melvin? Asked Addison. Yeah, Melvin the Mole. Oh, the kids started to kind of calm down. Well, who's that little guy next to him anyway? This is my son. Doesn't he look good? Said Melvin. And Sneasel Griffin went like this. They were the weirdest duo in the world. Noah didn't think the class would believe him when he said the name, but he said it anyway. Yeah, that little guy is Melvin's son. And, his name is actually Sneasel Griffin. Sneasel Griffin? Everybody chirped up. What on earth? By that time, the kids were not afraid anymore. They were kind of just laughing. Yeah, his name's Sneasel Griffin, said Noah. Yeah, Melvin chooses the weirdest names, but they're kind of funny. Well, just about then Noah started to realize Miss Bowles is late to school. She's always here before us. What happened? So he looked down at Melvin and said, Melvin, how come you switched places with Miss Bowles? What's going on? Why isn't she here? It seems like she would have kicked you out of school anyway. Melvin said, well, let's just say I took that into my own hands. You took it into your own hands? What does that mean? Said Noah. Well, you see. Melvin went back to his seat and kicked his feet up on Miss Bowles' desk. Straightened out his bow tie. This mole's smarter than most. Ha. Well, I know that, said Noah. Other animals don't even talk. Well, I'd appreciate it if you'd stop calling me an animal and start calling me Your Highness. Freaking Melvin, he was so weird, thought Noah. He smiled to himself. Well, what I did to Miss Bowles to make sure she wouldn't come into school today is, well, I dug a tunnel right under her house. Yeah, he dug a tunnel right under her house, said Sneasel Griffin. And I popped up in to her kitchen and I found her calendar. And it was on the day that, on Thursday. Yeah, 'cause today's Thursday, said Noah. Well, I scratched that out and wrote in big letters, Saturday. And then I left a little note on her door that said, Happy Saturday, I hope you have a good weekend. So you're telling me you tricked Miss Bowles into thinking that today was Saturday and there wasn't any school? You bet your bottom dollar, Noah, said Melvin. And now you get to hang out with me. Oh my goodness. Well, that's weird, said Noah, but I don't know what we can do about it now. Yeah, well, it's good to be here. It's good to be here, said Noah. Why would you want to come to school anyway? Don't you have better things to do? Tunnels to dig, places to explore, maps to make? Melvin said, well, Noah, yeah, we do all those things together. We dig tunnels and we make maps and we visit all of our cousins. But, to be honest, Melvin got a little bit shy. I get kind of bored in the daytime when all the tunnel trio is in school, except for Jane, because all Jane ever wants to do is play Barbies. And Lionel kind of just beats me up. Lionel beats you up, thought Noah. So, and while the big kids are in school, I get bored. I thought I'd come find you. There's not much to do, you know, during the daytime. School's a pretty cool place to be. He made another dumb face. So you wanted to come to school with me. That's right. But you tricked Miss Bowles into not coming so that you could stay all day? You got it. Well, what are all the other kids going to do, said Noah, pointing around the classroom. They're going to tell their parents. Don't you worry about a thing. Just then, Melvin the Mole pulled out a notebook. He said, I prepared a lesson. Today, kids, and he stood up tall, I will be your teacher. You can call me Your Highness. Your Highness? That's right, Your Highness, because I am royalty. You see this bow tie? I got it in Egypt from a pharaoh. Noah was thinking he actually did. These guys don't know he can dig tunnels all the way to Egypt. But he didn't want to tell them about the tunnel trio, so he just let Melvin keep talking. Well, kids, it seems like the best place for us to start will be the ABCs. And he looked down at his lesson plan where he'd written ABCs. The kids all laughed and laughed and laughed. And Melvin was kind of nervous. What did I say wrong, he wondered. The ABCs? Said Christian. We learned those years ago. What do you think we are, a bunch of babies? We know that stuff. Melvin got a little nervous and he said, well, you might think you know the ABCs, but you never learned them the way that I'm about to teach them to you. You'll never forget again. We don't have a problem with forgetting the ABCs, thought Noah. Whatever, he shrugged his shoulders and let Melvin go on. Melvin said, well, I thought I'd teach you the alphabet the way that I choose to remember it. The way you choose to remember it? Oh yeah, said Melvin. Well, it turns out I realized one day that I had 26 kids. 26 kids? Exclaimed the class. That is a lot of kids. That's right. And I didn't want my kids to just have any old ordinary names. One day I realized there's 26 kids and there are 26 letters in the alphabet. For every letter in the alphabet, I'm going to choose a name for one of my kids. And that's just what he did, said Sneasel Griffin. So you're telling me Sneasel Griffin is S, and 25 of the other kids all have names that start with different letters? That's exactly what I'm telling you. The ABC